You guys wanted it, and here it is. It's time for a toolbox tour. The toolbox itself is your basic Harbor Freight 44-inch toolbox. This is the older version, so I think it's only 18 inches deep, and it has the crinkle red finish. I've had it something like 8 or 9 years, and overall it's held up really well. Really, my only criticism is the drawer detents are not that great. I've actually adjusted them a little bit, but still, if it's not on a perfectly level surface, the top drawer here will pop open and roll open a little bit. I actually have it shimmed back just a little so that doesn't happen. The newer versions of these toolboxes at Harbor Freight have a gloss finish, and they're actually deeper. I think they're 22 inches deep. But it's not worth it to me to upgrade, because I got this one back when you could still use 20% off coupons on toolboxes. So I waited for a sale, and I used a 20% off coupon, and I think I only paid like $280. Enough about that. Let's get into this thing. The top drawer has tools that I use a lot, so like a lot of people, I keep my sockets in the top drawer. I have some tape measures over here, all my different bit sockets I keep right here, and a few of the little air tools that I use a lot. Tire chuck, air gauge, a blowgun, that type of thing. Some of these sockets are still the original set of USA-made Craftsman sockets I bought in the 1990s, and they're still holding up really well. I did sell a lot of my original Craftsman sockets when they started going up in value, but I still have a few. These here, these SAE ones up here. This deep set was assembled from pawn shops for dirt cheap. This is kind of no-name Stanley here on these deep ones. I don't remember where I got those. My 1/4-inch drive set is all SK. I bought a used set of SK sockets for a really good deal. One thing that I bought that I've been really quite happy with is my 1/2-inch drive impacts are all from Harbor Freight, but these are the Harbor Freight Pittsburgh Pro, so the more expensive ones. You can see they are chromo instead of CRV. They use chromoly instead of CRV, and they are made in Taiwan. Some people complain about them only being laser etched, not stamped, but they've held up really well for me, and they were a real bargain. The only downside is it does skip some less common sizes. That bothers some people, but it doesn't really bother me. I have other sockets in those sizes if I need them. All right, probably my favorite drawer here, the ratchet drawer. Now hold on a minute. Before you judge me for having this many ratchets, let me explain. I've said in other videos, I used to buy and sell tools as a hobby. So in the past, I never would have let myself amass this many ratchets without selling them on eBay. But the problem is now I don't have time to sell tools anymore. I finally stopped buying tools because I just have enough and I don't have anything to do with them. Only 1 or 2 of these were actually purchased new at full price or sale price. Pretty much all of these were purchased as closeouts or mostly good deals I found at pawn shops and swap meets. A few of them were good scores on eBay, but it's pretty rare for me to spend more than $5 on a ratchet unless it's something pretty special. So most of these were purchased in probably the $1 to $7 range. There is one ratchet in here that I bought new for full price. Do you see it? Do you know which one it is? It is this one right here. This is a USA-made Williams S53A extra long 3/8-inch drive ratchet. I think I mentioned made in the USA. Williams is owned by Snap-on. It's a brand aimed more at industrial customers than automotive. I really like the Williams round head ratchets. A lot of people like the Williams pear head ratchets, but I personally don't like them. I've had several of them. They have too much drag in my opinion, but these round head ones I like quite a bit. I actually see one other tool in here that I bought new for full price, and it's the only Snap-on tool I've ever bought brand new. It is this right here. This little tool, which is an SPP744 Snap-on ratchet assembly tool. So what you do is this little thing you use for holding ball bearings down inside ratchet mechanisms when you're reassembling ratchets. This next drawer is one of those kind of catch-all junk drawers. This one has, I have some Torx drivers, big hooks, a lot of bit screwdrivers, a few screwdrivers and screwdriver handles from other projects. Nothing too interesting in here. Next up is the pliers drawer. Most of these, again, were purchased used for way less than new retail prices, but there are a few things I bought new. I see right here this pair of Tecton pliers I bought. These actually are really poorly finished. I've bought some other Tecton tools that I liked. Look at that big shard of metal there. These are made in China and just not as nice as a lot of the other Tecton tools I've purchased. So all your basic different types of pliers here, up to a nice pair of Wildy snap ring pliers, all the normal stuff. Then I have garden shears over here. There is another kind of junk drawer here. I keep a few random things in this drawer. Drill bits, some snap ring pliers, a couple of my backup electrical tools, a couple big adjustable wrenches, hammer handles, and that's about it. Next up is the torque wrench drawer. There's not that much in here right now. I took all my torque wrenches out of their cases because they were taking up too much space, and I got rid of a couple torque wrenches recently. This is an older CDI. This is a Napa branded torque wrench. You've seen both of these in some of my past videos. Armstrong, this is a neat one, a tiny little beam torque wrench that is Indestro brand. This is a really handy tool. I used to work on bicycles and I use this quite a lot. I've also used it on valve covers and other small fasteners in auto repairs. Down here is my hammer drawer. It also has a few other things in there. You guys might recognize this big Williams ratchet that I restored in a past video. Again, all these hammers pretty much were purchased used. Some of them I've had to rehandle over the years, like this mini sledge here, this one too. Hammers are one of the things where I obviously have enough of them, so I had to make a rule to stop myself from buying more hammers. And that rule is if I'm going to buy an old hammer that, especially if it's going to need to be rehandled, it has to have a recognizable name stamped into the head. So this one is Channel Lock branded. I have this little weird one here that is a Bell System. I just got this one recently. I think this was owned by Bell Telephone and used by one of their technicians. In here I also have gear pullers, pry bars, other things like that. Let's move over to these smaller drawers here. Nothing interesting in this one. I just keep receipts and instruction manuals and paperwork in there. I mentioned I used to work on bicycles a lot, vintage bicycles specifically. So here I have all my specialized bicycle tools, chain breaker here, chain whip, the extra thin wrenches you need, cone wrenches. Here are the little plastic tire irons, various things like that. And all my C-clamps are in here. Again, these were virtually all, well, I know they were all purchased used because obviously none of these are new. So most of these I probably paid, you know, $1 or $2 for. Next up, some specialty automotive tools like this is the weird drain plug socket you need on a VW. This is for retracting the piston in a brake caliper. I'm sure you guys all recognize those types of things. And I have files in here, chalk line, nothing too exciting. Next up, punches, chisels, and line wrenches. All these were, again, purchased for just a fraction of new retail prices over the years at pawn shops, except for these punches. Let me go over here to the other side. I have my punches and chisels here organized in a very advanced way. I'm joking, of course. Over here we have the cheap second-hand ones. Some of these are nice brands, but they're mostly kind of beat up. So if I really need to abuse something, I can use one of these. I don't care if it gets damaged or breaks. Over here are all my nicer ones, which are pretty much all Wildy brand. I bought all these Wildy chisels and punches at Harry Epstein, a really cool tool store. Wildy is a brand that you might not know about. They're a US company and they make tools that are good quality but also quite affordable, and they're largely known for contract production. So even if you've never heard of the brand Wildy, you may have seen their tools before that they made and then were sold under a different brand name. Up next are locking pliers as well as Allen wrenches. Unlocking pliers, of course, we're all familiar with vice grip, but they're not quite as good, a lot of people would argue, as they used to be. And I also hate the vice grip release method. Of course, these ones are the quick release version, but on the regular version, I do not like this release design. It's a pinch point, it's just not very ergonomic. I like locking pliers that use the other type of design, like this one right here, where you pull up on this lever to unlock them. That's way more ergonomic. This Blackhawk set I got, I don't know if you can still find these anywhere. I bought them for a really good deal on eBay. There was a company that was closing out a whole bunch of them. Made in Taiwan. Again, they have a good locking mechanism. They've held up well for me, and I would suggest looking for these if you're looking for some bargain-priced locking pliers. I have a few, actually, other interesting things mixed in here. Check out these ones. Wizard was the brand of tools sold at Western Auto Stores. This was their house brand. I have no idea what company made these locking pliers. You can see they have no release mechanism. You just have to pull them to unlock them. There's another kind of weird one in here you might be interested in seeing. This one says Samson lever jaw wrench. It's similar to that last one, but stylistically at least, it looks a little bit older. Check out the adjustment screw there. It has a cool kind of bullet design with the knurling there, not just a simple screw with the knurling. Oh, the price tag on this, $5. There's no way I paid $5 for that. I would never pay that much for one of those. This is, again, another one. I don't know if I've ever used it, but this is the type of thing that I don't buy anymore, something that's just cool that I won't use and is cheap, because as you can see here, my toolbox is basically bursting at the seams, so I can't buy any more tools unless it's something I really need, or it's just such an insane deal that I can't pass it up. That's why I've basically stopped shopping for tools, because I find too many insane deals, and then I end up buying them, and they end up just taking up space. So this is the last drawer, and it is a heavy one. My Ratchet Extensions. Like I told you, I made a rule about buying hammers. I basically don't buy hammers anymore, but I made a very strict rule on extensions, and that is no more. I don't care how cheap they are, what great brand name they are. I obviously have more than I need at the moment. These are virtually all made in the USA, and were most of them bought for way less than $1. There are a few not USA made ones in here. These are the Harbor Freight wobble extensions. If you haven't seen that video I made, I bought this set of Harbor Freight wobble extensions to see how much torque they could withstand. I'll put a link down in the description below. I was really surprised by the result I found. So yeah, again, no more extensions. I can't buy an extension no matter how cheap it is. Even if it's free, if you walked up to me and tried to hand me a nice USA-made quality extension, for example, like this Allen branded one here, I would have to say, no thank you, friend. I've got too many already. And I'm sure you guys noticed that there were a lot of things missing there. You were probably thinking, hey, where are the wrenches and the screwdrivers? Well, I keep those in other places. I have my wrenches all up here on this board where they're easy to grab. My screwdrivers are over here in this little organizer that attaches to the wall. That's been quite a good buy. Another thing for those of you who are interested in what I have coming up in the future, check out what I just bought a few days ago at Lowe's. These are some of the new Craftsman screwdrivers that they just released recently. I bought this kit at Lowe's for 20 bucks. I'm gonna have a review coming up in the future. So that is that. I hope all of you enjoyed that look in my toolbox. And there's one thing you could do to help me. Well, if you haven't hit subscribe and like down there below, do both of those, please. But also, if you have any organizational suggestions for things I could do in this toolbox, let me know in the comments down below. I'd be really interested in reading them. And thanks for watching.